What is going on, everybody? Welcome back. Today we're going to be talking about the Order 66 raid bugs and investigations and observations and whatever else you want to call it that CG is doing. We're going to talk about what they've noticed so far, what they're looking at, some fixes they are bringing to the team, two different teams concerning Bad Batch and Captain Ithano, and also talk a little bit about what they're looking at with some of these undermanned teams. I'm going to give my thoughts on some of it. What I agree with, what I disagree with. We're going to break that all down in today's video. Hopefully you guys enjoy this video. So last night we got this post from CG talking about what they've noticed so far with Order 66. And right now, how things are going, it does not look like people really need to invest in the pirates to get them going for the Order 66 raid. And that, I think, has got CG's attention quite a bit, and they are probably going to be nerfing some teams and making adjustments so that certain teams can't be used as like 2-man or 3-man teams. And I think that's because they just don't want people skipping out on pirates for the raid, and that's kind of the big thing going here. So the first thing that they're going to talk about here is the Undersized team. The Order 66 raid description and modifiers indicate that Undersized teams get penalized for bringing in less than 5 characters in an attempt. And what happens here is Lord Vader has less stacks of execute on him if it's a team smaller than 5 people. The team is valuing whether this current penalty is reflective of the balanced expectation of the raid for the higher modifier teams or higher tiers. So what's going on here pretty much is that there is an issue where you have certain teams that are just going in with like 3 people. So like Master Mace Windu with Depa and Temple Guard, very easy. Relic 9, highest tier, 3.6 million. Pretty easy to do with that. The big one, and the one I think that is going to get CG's attention, is probably going to be adjusted, is going to be Dark Side Clone Troopers with Grand Moff Tarkin. What you can currently do is take Tarkin with Scorch, those two on their own, and get 3.6 at Relic 9, and then you use the other 3 clones with Apo, CX2, and Disguised Clone Trooper as their own team with no lead, and also get 3.6 million. And that, I think, has drawn the eye of Sauron in this case, in that I think CG is going to make adjustments to how those two teams work, which, honestly, I get. I really do understand why those two teams are drawing the ire of CG, if anything, because it does feel a little absurd that Tarkin and Scorch on their own can get 3.6 million. Now, granted, this isn't Relic 9, you do have to have high investments, but even so, just those two on their own getting 3.6 feels a little broken, and then also having the other 3 clones with no lead also pulling 3.6 does, yeah, that seems a little bit outside of what CG would expect for this raid. So I do expect them to make adjustments with the Tarkin and clones, and forcing it to make it so that you have to put them all onto one team at that point. That, I understand what CG making that adjustment if it comes to that. But also, if you look at how things are going right now, if you take Bad Batch, you have the 3-man team with Mace, you have a Beq's Undersized team as well with Kelleran Beq, Shakti, Jocasta, and Ayla, which can very easily score high levels in the raid as well. And then you take the Tarkin and clones to put that in the 2 teams. That's 5 raid teams right there, which means at no point are you going to have to worry about pirates, which they did talk about pirates. We're going to get to pirates here in a little bit. There's some buffs coming for Captain Ithano, which are drastically needed. But yeah, I don't think that they are going to let this completely slide, and they're going to make something happen where you're forced to use Tarkin and the clones all together on one team, which makes sense. I expect them to do that. That really does line up with what they would expect with this. That one I get. So we move on from that. Disguised Clone Troopers Clever Ruse does not get 20% turn meter at the proper time. This not only impacts the player obtainable version, but also the enemy version. We need to do some more in-depth investigations, and we'll do our best to decide on and communicate our preferred solution quickly. We'll see what happens there. If they make adjustments to the enemy Disguised Clone Trooper, may have to also nerf or adjust how our Disguised Clone Trooper works as well, even outside of the raid. Damage to overtime stacks from DCT are triggering wherever the unit performs an ability instead of the start of the turn. This happens for both versions, so again, if they adjust, it's going to nerf our version as well. Just keep that in mind. Order 66 raid, the pirate modifier, because pirates are work in progress, they're still working on tuning it, and we'll see how things go there. That makes sense. The big one, and this is one I do not agree with, and I'm pushing back hard against, is Kelleran Beq. We've observed Kelleran Beq performing exceptionally well under certain circumstances, and while we're monitoring their progress, our current status is to not intervene but keep monitoring it. We'll keep eyes on if we feel these start to get out of hand. So What they're talking about here is the fact that you can take this undersized Beq team, and you can actually drop, I believe you can drop Shock T off of this, and just use Beq, Nu, and Ayla together as those three, and you can score like Relic 8, Relic 9. You can max out the score with those three. I do not think this one should be adjusted. This is one that I don't agree with because right now, Kelleran Beq, like, he's one of the very few free-to-play options we have. Outside of Beq and Bad Batch, there's really nothing else for free-to-play to really have, except for those solo teams at, like, the bottom tier, like Emphas Nest and Hondo. And you can use Grand Moff Tarkin if you don't have clones. You can get like a solo score with him at the lowest tiers. I don't think Beq should be touched. Leave Beq alone. Beq is one of the few free-to-play options they have right now to actually get good scores. Bad Batch, which we're going to talk about here in a second, I think are going to have some serious issues when it comes to fixing the glitch with them, and I think we're going to need some adjustments on them. But I would say leave Kelleran Beq as it is, maybe adjust a little bit so that you have to bring in like a couple more, but the reason why I'm okay with Mace at this point and thinking that maybe Beq has to get adjusted is Master Mace Windu is like the featured character for the raid. He is a legendary character. You have to get the new clone troopers, you have to get Depa and Temple Guard up to Relic 5, you have to get all these characters up to Relic 5 to get Master Mace Windu unlocked. He is the featured character for the raid, like how we have Jar Jar with the Gungans for the Naboo raid, you had Jabba for the Crate Dragon raid, you had Leia for the Speeder Bike raid. And if you do remember the Speeder Bike raid, Leia could solo the top tier on her own and get a 3.6 million for you. Now, granted, she was a Galactic Legend, but still the featured character. Gungans were pretty much easy auto. Even without the Omicron, you could get some really good scores on them. And once they had made adjustments, very easy auto. You press auto, you max out scores, no problems at all. Master Mace Windu, I'd say leave as is. He's the featured character until we get GL Hondo, which most people are just not going to have in time for the raid. It's gonna be one where let us use the three-man team with Mace, Depa, and Temple Guard. That one I understand. I'm okay with leaving that. I think it should be left as is because of how strong Mace is. This is like his featured raid. He's the featured character. He's like the big star of the era. We're all grinding to get him. He's supposed to be good in the raid. So leave the Master Mace Windu team with Depa and Temple Guard as it is. Let us keep that three-man team. Beq, I think I can understand where Beq is good, but I don't know if I would agree with Beq being on the same level of Master Mace Windu and being able to do a three-man and get those high scores. So that one I can see them making adjustments for, just like I can see with Tarkin and Darkside clones. But I do not think that they should really nerf the performance of Beq. Let Beq be good, and that is something they bring up here, is that they're monitoring how Beq is performing too well. And I think that, honestly, if you have to make something you like penalize, like bring an underman team, okay, but don't nerf Beq. Don't make Beq harder to use in the raid. If we have to use a full 5-man team with Beq to get scores, that's fine, but don't go nerfing Beq and making it that he's impossible to use, that he's really tough to use. I think Beq should be one they need to be very careful with going forward to, considering how he's so free-to-play friendly right now, and how really we can't farm Darkside Clone Troopers. We definitely can't just farm Master Mace Windu either. So yeah, they have to be very gentle with how they treat Beq, and if they make adjustments, maybe make it a little bit tougher to do a 3-man team with him, but I would be very cautious and just overall nerfing how Beq works. So next up is going to be Captain Ithano. And Captain Ithano's leadership is getting a buff, which makes sense. That leadership sucks. It is really bad. They did say in the kit reveal that, he's supposed to be like a filler for your lead for pirates until we get better pirates, i.e. we get GL Hondo, and I'm pretty sure Maz Kanata is going to be another lead for pirates as well, with certain callouts in the kit. So this is one I think is going to kind of fill in, but right now this lead it's not good. And the general rule of thumb with these kits is that the longer they are, the better they are. And this is what, 2 sentences? 3 sentences. Yeah, this is not a very long kit. The kit kind of sucks in terms of this leadership. It just doesn't do a lot. So yeah, I do see them giving some bonuses to this. And we'll see how Profit works out in the long run. Profit's supposed to be like the big buff for pirates inside of the raid, and they're still working on adjusting it. But yeah, right now this lead just doesn't work too well. But that kind of gets to a couple more things here to talk about, and that is going to be Order 66, the Fox bug, where stacks of the Executor are not being removed from Vader when the target enemy has at least one buff. This will be fixed in the upcoming update. This, I think, is going to affect certain teams. I think this on its own can make things tricky, because if you can't get rid of Fox in a good amount of time, and some of these teams are like really close to failing just because they're not able to get that one big, they're just not able to get Fox in time. This one could be interesting. We'll see how this pans out in the long run, but I know most people are usually prioritizing Fox just because of the buff that he gives out, where he gives the extra stacks of Execute Lord Vader, buys you some time. This one, you've got a really narrow window already. We'll see how this bug fix with Fox will change things. Bug fix with Fox, that's a bit of a tongue twister. And then finally, the Bad Batch modifier. This is one that I pushed back on Meathead when I was talking to Meathead about this last night and this morning. I told Meathead that basically, if they're going to fix this with Bad Batch, they need to really look at the modifiers for Bad Batch as a whole. The modifiers right now, especially with being one of the only teams that you can really farm for the raid, there's just not good modifiers on Bad Batch with this one. So if we go and pull it up, like the level 7 or the level 7 one, like they get 100% bonus accuracy. Stealth characters deal 50% more damage. Non-stealth characters take 50% less damage. And then this mark, which can't be dispelled, prevented, or resisted, which I talked about this in my Bad Batch video the other day, where at level 1, Lord Vader can dispel mark and then put that character into stealth for one turn. That really does mess with Bad Batch. So if we have to take Bad Batch to Relic 9 to actually make them work well in the raid, that's not going to be good. I don't think a lot of people are going to go for that. I may, just because I like Bad Batch, but the faction bonuses as a whole, the hero bonuses just aren't good. A lot of these different teams get solid hero bonuses, like Grand Moff Tarkin, Appo. You've got Jocasta Nu, you've got Master Mace Windu, get some nice bonuses as well. Yeah, like, there's really not much going on for Bad Batch in terms of their hero bonuses. There's one for Omega, which, I'll be real honest, the hero bonus for Omega is not good. It sucks. It really does suck. Now you gotta figure out where it is. It is hero bonus. Where is the hero bonus? Yeah, here's the faction bonus. Most of us going to have like 40% accuracy and 25% max health. There's a hero bonus for Omega, and it sucks. And basically what happens is she gets like bonus tenacity whenever she dispels a negative effect, which doesn't really do a lot. Like, yeah, she's already in stealth, she's not being targeted, so what's the point of having her get bonus tenacity? The hero bonus just is not good. It's somewhere in here. I can't find it now. I'm probably looking right at it, and yeah, I don't know where it is, but it's somewhere. I'll find it later once I'm not recording anymore. But yeah, it's a bonus for Omega. It's not even here anymore. Is it not here anymore? I can't see it. I'm probably looking right at it. But yeah, as a whole, they could get some hero bonus. They could get a nice little hero bonus. Get some better faction bonuses for them as well. You know, having that marked, especially with how Bad Batch ramps up its damage at the start of the fight, they need those marks. They need that extra accuracy on Crosshair to kind of get his damage going. And then they also need to get like the Howl from Batcher, which applies the mark, but also gives bonus offense. And then you get offense up through Hunter's special, which also applies mark and gives offense up to the team. Yeah, they need those bonuses. They need the abilities that mark at the start of the fight to get that damage ramping. And if they take this away and they don't have a way for us to reliably apply mark without it getting dispelled by Lord Vader, not ideal. Not a big fan of it. We'll see how that all pans out. But yeah, as a whole right now, I do think they're going to have to make some adjustments. The big issue, of course, is that right now as it stands, yeah, there's no need to go for pirates. Like you have the Tarkin team with the with Scorch, and then the 3 clone team. You have your 3-man Mace Windu. You have your Underman Beq team. You have your Bad Batch. That's 5 teams right there. And at that point, there's no need to go for Pirates. And that, I think, CG is not going to let slide. So somewhere, a team is going to get adjusted. And I would expect it to be Tarkin and the clones. I just don't think that that's really in purview of what CG wants to happen in the raid. I don't think a 2-man team of Scorch and Tarkin should be getting 3.6 million. That's a little strong. It's a bit absurd. And I think CG is going to be in agreement with that. And we're going to see some nerfs, particularly for Tarkin and the Dark Side clones. We'll see how that all pans out. I want to hear your all's thoughts. What do you guys think? Yeah, I mean, obviously, of course, the big thing, too, is that, you know, maybe they should test. Do some more testing. Like, this could have been avoided if people just tested the raid, and they didn't. And this is what we've run into. So, I would like to hear from you guys on this. What do you all think? Do you agree or disagree with my assessment on things? Let me know down below. As always, if you guys have enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. I will see you guys next time.